What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, it is appreciated. So if you're new to my channel and you are wondering what I am talking about as far as perfecting my RocketBunny kit, I'm going to go ahead and show you. For starters though, I'm sure you saw in the beginning of the video, but I actually run a different front bumper than the RocketBunny front bumper with the fenders. I also run a different rear bumper. I actually run the AMS GT front and rear bumper and a different set of side skirts completely. Just because I wanted to change up the RocketBunny kit a little bit when I first got it. I wanted to keep the original front and rear bumper that I had, make it my own thing and kind of make it unique. And for the most part, I think I succeeded in doing so. Problem with that is when I did this 6-7 years ago, I was pretty new to bodywork and I made a lot of mistakes. So because of my lack of knowledge, I ended up giving myself a handful of problems. One being that there are definitely cracks and issues with some of the bodywork that I did. Issue number two, there are parts of the body kit that are completely sealed to other parts of the body kit. Like this, for example. I cut the rear fenders to blend in with the shape of my rear bumper. However, I didn't know how to fill in this area without just connecting it, so this is all just one piece. As you can tell, the years have not been great to it. As well as backing up to a curb one time and not fixing that properly, wrecking at white sands trying to drift, a gap between my side skirts and my front fenders, more body issues from wrecking at white sands, the gas cap area being all one piece connected to the car as well, and the body kit just not looking seamless in some spots. If you can't tell, I am completely calling myself out here and pointing out all the issues on my car right now. So because of issues like that, I cannot take off certain parts of my body kit. I ended up using actual rivets instead of rib nuts or anything like that. Initially, I had bought some rib nuts to work with the car. I had no idea how to use them, so I think I ended up just throwing them away, as sad as that makes me. And then I used self-tapping screws to hold in the fenders until I got rivets, and then I put the rivets in there, which the rivets have done their job. They've held the fenders in for years, but I want to be able to take my fenders off. And I also want it to look a lot nicer. And now is finally the time to start fixing all those issues. Mainly just because I got wrapped for my car. So I'm going to be changing up the color of my car slightly. And while doing so, I figured now is the perfect time to go ahead and fix all the body issues, make the outside of this car perfect, make everything blend together, make it so I can actually take off my fenders and just make it so I am completely happy with how this car looks on the outside and not have these ugly blemishes anymore. So sorry for all the talking, I know that was a lot, but I wanted to give you guys a full tour and gist of what I am going to be doing and why I'm going to be doing it. And with that being said, I think it's time to go ahead and start this project. So to start this little process, I'm going to go ahead and use the Dremel to very carefully cut along this to separate it there and on the sides. Well, I was trying to pull that piece out and instead it fell in, but I'll get it whenever I take this off. Definitely not a pretty gap to look at, but it's okay. Again, it's all gonna be worth it. And we're gonna start with this, guys. It's not in a very noticeable spot in case I mess anything up. And it's already kind of damaged around here anyways. So the drill bit I'm currently using is doing a good enough job to clear out the center area, but it's not big enough to completely hollow it out, so I am having to use
What did he say?
A bigger drill bit to actually get it to completely come out like that, which is what I want. But side note that's also surprisingly helping, this is a hole puncher. It's basically there to make a little divot in whatever you're drilling to make sure that the drill doesn't spin around, giving you a good point to start with. But what's nice is while using this, some of these
Nope. Nope.
are actually just pushing the rest of the way through, just using this, which leaves this big open hole, which allows me to use the big drill bit and clear these out pretty easily. First fender taken off successfully. And man, does my car look rough now. This is all sand that got in here from when I crashed at White Sand, so I'm sure there's going to be plenty more when I get to the side skirt. Also, I can see that I need to trim the fender down because it literally touches my tire. If I get rid of that, I might be able to drop my car a little bit more in the back, which will be cool.
Tomorrow.
Currently day 2, but I have been at it for a couple hours. Both fenders are now off. Same thing on this side, pretty interesting. I didn't realize that my fender was actually touching my tire, so now that I know that, I can lift up the car, take the grinder to it, clean that up. But luckily for the most part with this side, the rivets came out pretty smoothly. Just a couple of them that gave me a bit of a hard time, but the other side is definitely going to need some holes to be repaired before I can put the riv nuts in. This side not so much. I'm going to start working on sanding these little areas down. So I started applying some Bondo to this fender to clean up some of the issues that need it. While that's drying, what I'm going to do is apply some spray foam. Spray foam applied on both sides, so going to let that dry, which takes a number of hours. So day 3, have been at it pretty much all morning. I will say, even though there is a lot to do, I've been hammering away at this. Pretty happy with just the amount of progress that I've made so far just on the little things. So I put a couple coats of Bondo and fiberglass on here to fix this little crack that I had. I'm starting to fill in the gap on the gas tank and make sure that the gapping here on the slit is proper. I have also trimmed down the fenders some more to where they are not hitting my tires and making sure that there's no sharp areas. Not that I really had any issues with my tires or anything, I just don't want to tense it as these Nittos are not very cheap. So I might have better fitment now, which will be kind of nice. And another little issue that I didn't talk about, my side skirts used to not touch here at all. I don't know if you can see inside there, but there was area for clips where the original side skirts were, and these side skirts just did not work well with that. So there's always been a gap here, and the only spot my side skirt was really being held on from was a couple spots on the bottom and then on the back and really by the door. So I went ahead and put some screws. This is just temporary. I will find some nicer hardware to put in there, but now it's actually buttoned up. Looks really seamless here. Here I can't get it all the way just because the fitment with the front fender and everything, but I'm happy that there's another spot where the side skirt's actually being held up, and it, you know, looks a lot better because there used to be a pretty decent sized gap right there. As much as I hate seeing my Z look this bad, it's also bittersweet because there's so many little issues that just used to bug the heck out of me, and it feels really good to finally be fixing them and, you know, making this car look a lot better.
Early the next morning.
So another day has gone by. I apologize that I am not showing more of what I'm doing. There's just a lot to get done, and I don't want to be making this video insanely long for you guys, and I really don't want to do a part 2 if possible. But I'm going to try and do a little better of actually showing you guys some of the stuff that I'm doing, just so you know. I just figured most of it's already on my channel as well, but for some of the newer people that may want to see exactly what I'm doing, I'm going to try and show you a little more of the processes. Yesterday we did get the front fenders off, which were twice as difficult as the rear ones were for some reason, but luckily we got them taken care of. And my foam that I had put on there did not work at all. As soon as I took the over fenders off, the foam just peeled and kind of stuck more to the ground than to the fenders, so I ended up just having to lay fiberglass over it with a rough shape of what I think I'm needing, and I just put it up against it. For the most part it looks okay, I just have to trim it down, so that's what I'm going to do now. And that is basically the process that I am having to do with every aspect of this project, just because it's measuring, checking things, sanding, checking things, sanding, checking things until it lines up. Definitely a daunting and repetitive process, but It's pretty much the only way to make sure that you have a proper fit. It's annoying, but it gets the job done. The front fenders, the shape is pretty much there. Right now I'm just smoothing that over. Gonna complete that a little bit and then it's pretty much good to go. Last thing pretty much that needs to be done to prep the car is just sand everything down on the car itself. Make sure it's all smooth to go so I can lay the vinyl over it and you're not seeing like imperfections and things like that. And I know this isn't related to this project at all. I just want to show you guys. I've been searching for Hot Wheels for months, and today I went to a Walmart in a different town and just came home with 3 Walmart bags full of Hot Wheels. So pretty excited about that. Now I got to spend an hour trying to find a place for all of them, so that's going to be fun.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Holy crap. All right, it has been a mission and a half to get this Z prepped and ready. It's been a number of days since I touched base with you guys last, and I feel like I say that every time I pick up the camera recently. But I bought hardware before I even started this process for my fenders, and they didn't work because I didn't have the right fitting for them. So I returned it, ordered some new hardware, got it in today, was super excited, and again, the fittings that I have did not work. Luckily, my dad has everything that I ever need, him or my stepdad normally do. So I have started applying the riv nuts. I'll go ahead and show you guys how those work, and then hopefully I can show you guys everything on before everything's wrapped, just so you guys can see how everything ended up looking after all the body work that I've done and stuff so far. Then from there we can probably call the video. So these are riv nuts. These are what you're going to be using. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that it does fit in the hole. If not, obviously drill your holes to be big enough. There are different types of riv nut guns. This is the type that I'm using just because it has the bits that I need. So you apply this guy in there, put it inside the fender. And then if you're wondering how it all works together, basically what you would do now is apply the fender once all of these are put together. Put these on the outside of the fender. And these guys just screw right in. And just imagine the fender being in between here. These are in the little grooves, and that's how it's gonna sit. The fenders are back on the car for the most part. Everything looks really good. This isn't the final product. Of course, I am gonna take these back off. Just final little touches, but this is just showing that the hardware that I got does work. I can take these on and off. On top of that, I also wanted to check out all the bodywork and make sure that all the work I've been doing has actually been doing what I needed to. So for starters, the gas cap area, as you can see how clean and close that is to the actual fender. This piece here in the back, nice and clean. The side skirt is now actually separated from my rear quarter panel, so that's nice. And the extensions on the front fenders. Honestly, really happy with how that looks. But other than that, the car is pretty much put together, just a little bit more of completing everything, making everything super flush, super clean. And then we can actually go ahead and start wrapping it, which I am super excited for. Also, a happy little accident. I ended up finding my stock taillights this weekend, so might try and do something with those as well. We'll see. Not saying I'm going to switch out the ones that I have, but just nice to have an extra set just for a different look sometimes. So I am pretty sure I have like 130 clips now to edit for this video. Hopefully the video wasn't too long for you guys, but I am really excited. I had a bunch of stuff to do, got pretty much everything done. Really happy with how the car's looking. With that being said though, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.